Kemba had talked about before the start of the series how poorly he was playing. He's also dealing with a bit of a knee injury, so there have been some situations around Kemba Walker. The situation around the Celtics, they were up a dozen heading into the fourth quarter of Game 1, blew it, lost it. You heard Mike Breen there say they were up 17, and with Pat Riley watching from above in the bubble in person with his mask on, they rallied to take that game and are now up 2-0, and there are a ton of questions on what's happened to the so-called genius Brad Stevens.
Look, I don't think anything's happened to the so-called genius. I think he just hasn't made the necessary adjustments that they needed to in the second half of these games, especially in the bubble, right? When you look at the series against Toronto, they should have closed that thing out a long time ago. But because Toronto made the adjustments with Nick Nurse, they brought it all the way to the end. 7 games stretched it. Now in the Miami situation, Eric Spoelstra's just out coaching him. And Eric Spoelstra, quite frankly, is out coaching everybody. I mean, he's the best coach in the East right now. So when you look at that, this window of opportunity, man, is scary for Boston. I know we like the young nucleus of talent, Tatum and Brown and Smart and now Kemba Walker, but we also liked it when they had Gordon Hayward and Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie Irving and all these different pieces coming and going. It reminds me a lot of, you hear me here.
Go for it.
The process.
Oh, in Philly.
In Philadelphia, right? It's 4 years ago, we would have thought by now a ticker tape parade would have gone through Philadelphia.
Down South Street.
Down South Street.
Right.
But it didn't happen. And as you continue to put yourself in these situations like Boston, not getting out of the East and getting to the finals and winning a chip, everybody else in the East is getting ready to get better. Milwaukee's going to get better or worse, but Miami is going to get better, right? They're not going to get worse because they're already here. They're just going to get better. Then there's a team that's right up the road. I don't know which way. That way.
Your GPS.
I got to figure it out. If Jay Will was here, he'd tell me Brooklyn is over there near New Jersey, and he's from here. But the Nets, no one talks about that with Kyrie and KD coming back next year. So the East is getting ready to get some sort of logjam. Toronto is probably going to get a little bit better. And if they don't, they still in the way. So this window of opportunity for Boston could be closing. And you say, how could that be, man? They young. No, you don't know what you're talking about, Key. No, I do know what I'm talking about. Because 4 years ago, we would have thought Boston by now would be in the finals. But it's going by them slowly. 3 years from now, we might be looking at something different in Boston.
It's all about meeting the moment, and I understand the Celtics have more championships.
Hell, Indiana going to get better.
Yeah, they need a new coach, but they want to be more offensively driven. Mike D'Antoni is out there. Here's what it reminds me of. I totally understand. If you're a Celtics fan, look, you got more titles than anybody. You got one more title than Keys Lakers, though that may be changing. That may be changing. But the Celtics do have 17. The Lakers have 16. So when you talk about the Celtics meeting the moment, we're not talking about anything short of hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy because of their history. But they remind me, and this is interesting because you're a college football guy at heart, they remind me of Oklahoma. When Bob Stoops was coaching Oklahoma, he won a national title in his second year.
Yes.
And then he never won one again. And after he won one in his second year, and I'm not diminishing that by saying it's easy.
I was laughing because I was going to say, well, he did run up against USC one time.
Yes. And that did not go well for the Sooners. One of the epic blowouts you'll ever see about 15, 16 years ago. But I would tell you this, Key, when you think about it, Bob Stoops was there about 18 years. He won one national title, but because he won the first one so early, what's happening? Why aren't we doing it again? To your point, the Celtics meeting the moment, maybe Brad Stevens just got there quicker than expected. First year on the job, disaster, right? No worries. 25-57, 25 wins in his first year. Then they jump to 40. And this is Key's point. Now they start looking like the Celtics in terms of moving in the right direction.
Yes.
Third year, they go to 48. Fourth year, they go to 53. Then in their fifth year, they go to 55. So in his first 5 years, he wins more than the previous year every single time. And in 5 years, they have doubled their win total. And then they dropped down to 49 last year. And then this year, 48, but it wasn't an 82-game schedule. I want to mention, Key, this is one thing that's not being mentioned about the Celtics. They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times in the last 4 years. Yes. If you're listening this morning, you're like, wait a minute, is that true? Yes, they ran into LeBron a couple times, and you know what happens when you run into LeBron when LeBron is in the East. But this whole thing with Philly, the comparison, Brad Stevens, He's taken the Celtics to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times in the last 4 years. That is worth something. I'm not going to listen to anybody tell me he's doing a poor job.
No, he's not doing a poor job. It's just that others are going to catch up. Like, the Nets is coming. They're not going anywhere. The New York Nets, the Brooklyn Nets are about to add one of the top 3 players in the NBA that they didn't have last year. They're getting ready to add that dude. Now Miami, who's up 2-0 on Boston, is probably sniffing around Milwaukee without Milwaukee knowing. They're trying to poach something that everybody would like to have. They're going to get stronger.
And oh, by the way, maybe the Heat will get even stronger.
That's what I'm saying.
Well.
So when you start looking and you start saying to yourself, time runs out, right? The Philadelphia 76ers, when they had J.J. Redick and we're going to do this, and then they get Jimmy Butler, we're going to do that, and Ben Simmons and Embiid, and now the coach is fired because the expectations was so great they didn't live up to them. Now, people run out in sports patience. They just do.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.